Hello everyone, I am Priyanka Gopinath and today we will discuss the chapter A Letter to God. It is written by G.L. Fuentes. This chapter revolves around a naive farmer who has a very strong belief in God. Now let us move on to read the synopsis of the chapter. Now the story revolves around a farmer whose name was Lenco and he owned a field of ripe corn. And he desperately wanted rain to make a decent profit out of his harvest because he works very hard and he's completely dependent on the rain to make his crops healthier. Just as per his wish, it did rain, but it turned into a vicious hailstorm. When the other members of his family gave up and felt disappointed about the fact that they are going to starve for another year without anything to eat, Lenko did not lose his faith. He believed in God and decided to write a letter to him mentioning his problems. Now Lenko addressed the letter to God and dropped the letter in the post office. A postman who found addressing a letter to God very amusing because it does not happen in regular life showed the letter to his boss, the postmaster. The postmaster found the letter amusing too, but he later realized the seriousness of the letter and decided to help Lenko out. He asked money from his employees and he himself contributed money. Though he could not gather 100 pesos as requested by Lenko, he managed to collect at least 70 pesos. The postmaster now put in all the 70 pesos inside an envelope and along with a letter which only said one word, God. The next Sunday, Lenko came into the post office and was not surprised to see a reply letter from God himself because his confidence and faith on God was very strong. However, when he opened the letter, he was furious to see only 70 pesos and not 100 pesos. So, in the post office itself, he wrote another letter telling God that he will be needing the remaining 30 pesos. He also asks God to send it to him personally and not through mail or the post office because the employees of the post office are a bunch of crooks. He thinks that the post office employees stole 30 pesos off his 100 pesos and that's why there are only 70 pesos inside his envelope, which is not true because it were these employees that contributed a part of their salary towards helping him. Few of the characters in the story are Lenko, a farmer in dire need of money to make profit from his harvest. The second character is the postmaster, an employee in the post office who is sympathetic and collects money to help Lenko out. The third character is the postman. He is another employee in the post office. And the fourth character is woman, who is Lenko's wife. The protagonist of this chapter is Lenko. Let us look at few of his personality traits. Number 1. He was hardworking. As mentioned in the text, he worked like an ox on the field, though he was heavily dependent on the nature to give a good downpour for the success of his crops. Number 2. He was highly optimistic. When the family of his had lost hope on doing well economically that year, he still had faith and found ways to reduce his stress. Number 3. He had a firm faith on God. No normal person would ever write a letter to God when they are facing a difficulty, but his faith made him make that move. On Sunday, when he went to collect the letter, he was not even surprised to see a reply letter from God himself. This was due to the confidence of his faith. Number 4. He was foolish. He failed to recognize the fact that God wouldn't send a reply letter, but it was the actual post office employees. But instead, he called them a bunch of crooks and wanted God to send the remaining 30 pesos personally to his house. The second main person we need to look into is the postmaster. Number 1. He was plump in appearance. Though this is not his personality trait, it is important to note this point. Number 2. He was amiable in nature. He was very friendly and this nature of him allowed his employees to be cool around him. This is why the postman had no hesitation in bringing him the letter which he found amusing. Number 3. He was sympathetic. Though he found the letter amusing too, he felt really bad for Lenko and collected money for him. And number 4, he was very humble. There are two instances which prove this. Firstly, he was humble to his employees. He needn't have looked into a random letter the postman had brought him, but he did. Secondly, he was humble enough to not mention the fact that it was him and his friends who contributed the money and not God himself. Thank you so much. We hope you enjoyed this session. Question and answers regarding this chapter will be uploaded on our website, to which the link is given in the description box. Please do not forget to like and share our video and subscribe to our channel. Happy learning!